Kevin Dooms, a man of 100 hustles, here today talking to y'all about perspective. Perspective is a particular attitude towards or a way of regarding something. Also, it is taking something two-dimensional and rendering it in a way that's three-dimensional to show its height, distance. Just we perceive the world in three dimensions. So I like that parallel, how to take a two-dimensional concept and help you to understand that it's a three-dimensional object. And that's what I want to talk about today as far as perspective goes. Just a side note, I have a weird color vision deficiency. While most people see red and green disappear on the color vision spectrum all the way down to black and white and no vision at all, I've got a weird 5% color vision deficiency that makes it so that I don't perceive blue and yellow the same way that other people do. And I did not know this until I was 40 something years old, therefore making me understand that my perspective of everything on life was wrong. I basically had to suddenly change everything when I realized that what I thought was purple is blue to most people, and what most people see as light yellow or off-white I either don't see at all or it's just a off-white shade. But that's neither here nor there, not that important. It's such a rare and a minute deficiency that it's not that big of a deal, and it doesn't really affect my vision other than making the sky bright purple at night. Now, the perspective change that I wanted to point out, I was driving, and I'm notorious for just kind of going into this zombie mode where I shut my brain off, I listen to my podcast, and I go where GPS tells me to go. Well, when I woke up from a happy place while driving, I came to in Chinatown. And that made me realize just how much information we take in at a glance when we read. Subconsciously, by reading in English as my native language, I don't even think about street signs, warnings, sales tags, markdowns, alerts, all the things that we just absorb at a glance because English is my primary language and everything's written in it around me. And when I looked around and I was in Chinatown, and I was in that part of Chinatown where you don't even get subtitles. So I thought about the perspective of people coming over from not only immigrant foreign countries, because at least with German it's very much so English still, and if you speak Spanish, French, Portuguese, or Italian, those are all essentially very similar languages with almost the same language rules and the same language rules as English and the alphabet. So you factor all those in, parallel learning should kick in at any point in time with those languages, so to make them a little bit easier to learn, absorb, and at least if I'm reading signs in Spanish, while I may not be fluent and conversational, there is a base for me to go off of, for me to learn Spanish. But then I thought about my friends whose parents were from places like China, Japan, Thailand, people from the Middle East that write in Arabic. What happens when you don't have those parallels? Not only do you got to learn a new language, you've got to learn a whole new writing form. And I just thought about how scary that would be. Not only did you move to a whole nother country where you may or may not speak the language, but now you can't even read. Literally, the words on street signs mean nothing to you. That's brave, terrifying, and awesome all at the same time to me. Don't even get me started on dyslexia with another language. What if somebody comes over here and you're dyslexic and you read in Chinese? Now you got to learn how to read in English, Ooh. I actually was thinking about this. How dyslexia works is most people, when you're dyslexic, you only read the first and last letters of most 3 to 5 letter words when you have to read out loud, just so that it doesn't sound too terrible. And I thought about if you handed a dyslexic person something in Russian to read out loud and just watch their brain melt. For me, that would be hilarious, but I'm a little bit of a cynic and a sadist. But that's neither here nor there. Russian, that's a funny one though for me, because they technically have the same alphabet, but those alphabets don't mean the same thing as they do here. But It just kind of really makes me appreciate growing up with a lot of immigrants. Like I have friends whose parents got their, like, one of my closest friends, her dad's Cambodian, her mom's Chinese. So when the killing fields happened in Cambodia, they literally had to get out. Yeah, that's a fun history lesson you need to look up on your own time. But that's neither here nor there. The whole video is just about me appreciating, like, just perspective, appreciating immigrant culture, and just kind of knowing what it's like to kind of see things from other people's point of view. It's really easy to go into like this narcissistic first world, first person sickness that infects us all. And ever since I found out that I don't perceive the world the way that everyone else does, it forces me to slow down. And it really makes me take the time to consider other people's point of view, other people's perspective, how they're seeing the world, how they're receiving the world, how they're seeing and receiving information. And when I had to realize that it was specifically me not perceiving the world the way that everyone else was, I found myself in a lot of situations like just not reacting so fast. And just kind of living by this principle, one of my favorite old Texan sayings, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. And I don't know, I spend a lot of time doing that nowadays, because even though I get on here and I feel like I have a lot to say, when I interact with normal humans on a daily basis, I think I would rather receive their information than give them mine. This is Kevin Dooms, the man of 100 hustles, talking about perspective. I know it's not goofy, but it's just where I'm at on this video a day quest.